Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to midweek market update. Changed the time today. I had something going on in my morning time, so couldn't do the New York session, which I usually do. But I'm just going to doing this before kind of the market close, before Asia market opens. So that's going to take a look at what has happened throughout this week so far, about halfway through. Kind of see what some opportunities are that I'm still looking at. There seems to be some movement today. There seems to be a lot of dollar movement today, which we can go over a little bit. Um, there's a lot of dollar strength in the market as well. You see a lot of these kind of movement, push up, push down kind of thing from euro dollar and a couple other dollar pairs, which we can go a little bit more in depth into. I personally, like I update everyone in my Telegram, I got out of the position here before all this kind of irrational move. Just secure a little bit of profit here, and then I want to see if we're going to get another further upside. But all this is kind of throwing me off a little bit, so we'll go over this a little bit more in detail, and then we will go from there. All right. Hello, nice to see you guys. Nice to see you. So can everyone hear me and see my chart? I just want to make sure this is all good to go, and then if we're all good to go, we're gonna get started. Give me a yes if you guys can hear me and see my chart, or why. I'm just not seeing anyone responding, so I just want to make sure this is all good to go. Hello, hello. Why? Thank you, thank you. Good, good. Thank you very much. So let's get started now that we are all good to go. Nice to see some different faces. Usually I start this at the New York session, so it's nice to see different people on. Um, so we're gonna get started with just the position I'm in right now. Okay, I want to update everyone. This is what I always do. So if you call for my Telegram, I did mention about I was in one of these pound Aussie trade, and then got off for break even. Let me just get that out again. Yeah, here we go. Sorry. Um, so I was in one of these pound Aussie positions short. Update everyone in Telegram was able to got in on this sell here, but the price kind of just pulled back here. So there was really no kind of lower time frame for me to exit the trade prematurely. It kind of started climbing up. Ended up taking a break even here, but I knew and I was wanting to kind of look for further development on the price. I still like the overall higher time frame to the lower time frame. Still like the fact that we have this impulsive move. We have a kind of a pattern separation from this previous one, and this ascending channel or parallel channel, so to speak, is at the end continue correct within this ascending channel. So all these are pretty good bearish kind of confluence that I want to look for. And if we look closely at the end here, what was once an impulse push down, to me it just kind of falls into kind of a bigger correction. To me, this is kind of like a bigger correction that is in the making. And I like how we have a few swing highs and a few swing lows. So classify it as a correction. And I like how we have this impulse break out of this higher time frame setting channel as well. So I opted with kind of a reversal entry. We're waiting to see what will happen here. Just waiting for this 1 hour candle close, reach kind of a high test followed by bearish engulfing. So I went in with an entry order, put the stop loss above the high here, even above this high here really, and then just price tag me in. And we'll see how this correction is going to play out. First target is kind of like this kind of low area where the price previously had pretty strong kind of bounce off from the top, and but ultimately my target will be at the low of this overall structure here, right? I like how this potential run has a lot of value, has a lot of risk reward involved. I can certainly expect price to continue It may not go in one straight line, right? It might just push down, correct, and then push down again, but we'll see and we'll reevaluate as the price goes. So that's pound Aussie, and then I'm also in Kiwi Swiss. So Kiwi Swiss, uh, talk about this one when we're seeing the price kind of falling into this larger kind of continuation pattern, right? This is an impulsive move pushing up. This is just a larger kind of higher time free flag or channel. However you see this, and we're getting a little bit more structures within structure, patterns within patterns. We have this kind of a descending structure within the bottom of this higher time frame structure. So it's good to look for potential upside. It looks like we have this impulse breakout now, and I like how there is a lower time frame correction here in the making. So I just want to wait for this correction to at least have a few swing highs and a few swing lows and push up to set up entry order here. So price taking in is just hovering around this now. And we'll see how next couple of days goes, if this is going to continue upwards or if it's going to push down. I'm fine to take a loss here, and I'll kind of reevaluate to see what's going to happen in this area. Ultimately, I still think there's a lot of potential for this upside move. I feel like there is lots of room to the upside, definitely, if this is going to break out and then continuation after, certainly to the top here in time, weeks to months. That's certainly a possibility. We'll see how that goes. But again, other than that, these are kind of the two positions that I am in. Any question on these before I kind of start with Outlook now? So, like I said, these two trades are in Kiwi Swiss and Pound Aussie, and that's about it. So, we'll go from there. And let's go with the outlook today, kind of starting with the dollar pairs. Let me see kind of what you guys are talking about here. How do we handle zigzag correction, which we normally see with an impulse? I'm not really sure what you mean by zigzag correction. If you can be a little bit more uh, clear, or you can take a screenshot or something if you can post, then I can take a look. I'm not sure what you mean by zigzag correction. So, in the same trades, good job, nice. Was looking at these two trades, right? Pound Aussie, Kiwi Swiss. I think they're looking okay. Not in any other positions. I update everyone that I closed Euro Aussie when we had this kind of a pullback here, right? This was the initial sell. Same thing with Pound Aussie, push down. A price kind of just retraced back up, reverse. I exit here once I saw a bullish continuation here. So I exit for about 0.51%. But it looks like it's continued down, right? It pushed down again. I was looking to see if I can get an entry order here. Did not push down, kind of form a correction here. Push down again, but I had this reversal up. So it doesn't really look that clean. I thought Pound Aussie looks a little bit cleaner in this case. But certainly if this is going to be a top here, and we might even push down here and then continuation down later. So that may happen or may not happen. We're gonna have to see how that goes. I thought Pound Aussie was looking much better because we actually have a little bit of structure, a little bit of a continuation correction here after this impulsive break. So and I like how we broke out of this ascending channel as well. So again, was picking through the both of them, and I found Pound Aussie looked ultimately a little bit better. YouTube channel. Hey, thank you very much. Appreciate that, my friend. This is the first time I got something like this. Thank you very much. Thank you. Did I pronounce that name right? Ed Rainey? Ed Rainey. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Thank you very much. So let's start with the outlook today. Let's start with the outlook today. I'm going to go over kind of the dollar index now. Now, I think there is some lower time movement today, right? We saw this kind of a push down for the price and then push up. It's a little bit off kind of what the price may do here. And we already kind of looking at what this can be, right? What is this continuation correction would be? Now, if we look at the higher time frame here, to me, I still kind of reasonably hold a potential kind of a sell bias for this, even though we did have a little bit of a lower time frame kind of push up. But when we're in doubt, right, just make sure you zoom out a little bit. Right, when you're zooming out a little bit, it's going to give you a little bit better perspective, right? So if you look at this overall, we still have this top here, we still have this kind of a rising wedge, and price is still pushing down, right? We did have this push down for the price. Basically, it's just potentially forming a continuation pattern, kind of what I was expected. So if this continuation correction can hold, or it can stay like this, or continue to correct a little bit longer, then I do think another downside move is very likely. So we're gonna have to see how this goes and kind of how it develops in the next couple of days. We also have NFP coming up, right, in 2 days. I always get these questions asking about, how do you deal with NFP and things like that. Um, Personally, I don't really, for NFP things like that, it doesn't really bother me to trade through them or whatever. Usually, it's just that I'm aware of a news event such as that is happening, so I'll be aware of, dollar pairs in general, or some yen pairs, depending on how it goes. But judging by what I'm seeing here right now, it's still looking pretty clean, right? To me, this is still a down move overall. We have this larger correction that's in the making, and we have this top here that the price basically reversed down. So to me, as long as, like I said, if this correction still remains and still holds, I still expect dollar can get weakened and continue. Okay, but alternatively, if this is going to just start reversing back up and bullish continuation and start breaking out, then yeah, that is a sign from the market that this is no longer a continuation correction to go downside. This basically becomes a reversal correction to reverse the price, and then bullish continuation, and we're just breaking out, and then further upside continue. Right, that's a possibility. So first thing first, obviously, just kind of waiting to see what we do here. All right. So let's move on to other ones here. I was looking at Kiwi Dollar here because Kiwi Dollar actually broke out, which gave me a little bit better bias here. To me, I think I updated you guys from last week that I was kind of looking at the dollar getting weakened, seeing that the strong impulsive move, we did have a few swing highs and few swing lows. I have this kind of descending channel correcting all the way down to this larger, higher time frame structure. So I like everything I'm seeing here, and we have a strong breakout now, right? So if we're going to get continuation, I think this is very, very clean that we're going to get further upside and continuation upwards. I think this is one of the dollar pair that I'm mainly focused on now. Think about the dollar pair because of today's action, it was a little bit off, right? Like euro dollar, which I'll go over after. I think Kiwi dollar is still looking pretty clean. We have this impulsively move to the upside. Sure, a correctional lower time frame correction here is going to be ideal to potentially push out the price, right? This is going to be my confirmation of an entry, right? So we're watching out for price to do if it's going to give you a little bit of consolidation. That's going to help you to strengthen this overall push to the upside. All right. So that's Kiwi dollar. Let's take a look at euro dollar. I know a lot of you guys are asking me about euro dollar. Now, basically, what we're seeing here is basically mimicking dollar index, right? It's just inverse related. And I was in one of these euro dollar position, ended up taking a little bit of profit. We did have this bullish push out, and this is the time where we're going to be a little bit more careful. Is this going to be that continuation correction? Same thing as dollar index, right? We're in this same kind of situation where we had a kind of a lower time frame uh, volatility, and that's the way to put it. You can see that some people will share me with some screenshots. Let me just hide all this and give you a perspective. So I did got exit. I did take out here for about 1.1%. At the time with my management, when I saw this kind of a pennant or triangle, however you see this, broke down impulsively. That's how I exit for about 1.1%. And then basically it shows a little bit more bearish correction. It looks like it's going down further. So even if I didn't exit here, I definitely would have exit here when I see something like this. And then we had this really bullish push up, right? So I saw some of you guys kind of adjust the structure like this. And you're not wrong at all, right? You're not wrong at all if you're going to adjust the structure like this. And then uh, price bullishly break out, right? But again, this is not an entry here, guys. Remember, we're always going to look for when we have a breakout from a correction or whatever pattern we have, you want to wait for lower time frame continuation. That's going to add confluence for entry. So if it did develop something like this, then I think an entry here would be very valid, right? If you put an entry order like this and then wait for the consolidation, depending on how big or how wide your stop loss is. And I think that is something that's worth taking and something that I would consider to re-enter again. But really, it did not happen, right? Let's be honest. We did not see that, and we didn't see a continuation correction after the price breakout. And basically, I don't know if there was some news event or maybe something that happened during the New York session, and basically had this kind of a really strong reversal back down, right? So that's why it's just throwing me off a little bit because this is a really strong impulsive move. Whether or not this is going to be some sort of continuation here, it's too early to tell. Probably need a little bit more time to develop, likely to consolidate it here a little bit during the Asia session, and we might see a little bit more movement once the London session or the next day New York session happens. But to me, this kind of price action is something that I don't really want to trade through, nor do I want to start speculating is this going to be a reversal from the bottom because I really don't like how there is an impulsive move up, reversal impulse down, and looks like there might be continuation here. It's not finished yet, so it's obviously too early to tell if this is going to guarantee a continuation or this might be just consolidation and then end up being reversal. So I'm going to be very patiently just kind of waiting to see if this is going to develop something further, and we'll see how kind of the next 1 or 2 day goes. While I do still hold a pretty strong bullish kind of bias here on euro dollar or dollar weakness in general, but I also want to see if this is going to be a continuation correction for further upside. So I think the lower time frame here, like I said, this area here with this kind of consolidation here is going to be the key here, whether or not we're going to get further upside or this is going to be continuation for a bearish move down. Okay. I thought I answered this so because I've been getting a lot of DM about euro dollar in general and what's my view on it currently. So my view, like I said, right, still potential upside, but I need to see a little bit more development here on the lower time frame. Great, buddy. Nice to long-term DXY. Yeah, yeah. We'll see how that goes, right? We're just gonna see how in the short term, wise, look at least the short term, next few days or a week or so, gonna see what the price will do in this area first. Let's go on to someone asked about dollar cat. Dollar cat, I'm not really seeing much of dollar cat after this continuation really didn't continue lower. If you guys recall at the time when we see this bullish push up on the price, and it was basically reversed down, right? We have this bullish push up and then it just didn't continue afterwards, right? It didn't continue afterwards. Had a reversal impulse down, bearish continuation to push down lower, and it's going to retrace back up a little bit. So it's kind of throwing me off a little bit once again. It's a little bit unclear whether or not this is going to be a push up to the upside, or we might just kind of push up here to form a bigger structure or something like this, and then still go down afterwards, right? So it's a little bit too early to tell, in my opinion. I don't see the buy, I don't see the sell from my plan at least, and I'm not planning to enter anything from here. I think it's not as clear as some of the other dollar players. Like if I was to look at Kiwi Dollar, I think Kiwi Dollar is looking a lot more cleaner because we actually have a strong impulsive move now and few swing highs and few swing lows. So that makes it more likely that this is a larger correction and we did have bullish reversal price action. Whereas dollar cat, I can't really draw any structure here. We did have this decent channel. We did have this impulsive breakup, but this area here, you can either call this as a head and shoulder or not. Really, it's a little bit odd, but there is no kind of structures here that give me a better bias or better confirmation to look for buy or sell, at least at this given moment. All right. Swiss yen, I will go over that, sure. I kind of already explained the two position how I entered in the beginning, so I'm gonna explain it later. I'm gonna continue now. Let's go with dollar yen here. Someone asked me about dollar yen because it had a really strong kind of a bullish push to the upside, right? Depending on how you see this, at the time when I woke up in the morning, uh, around New York sessions, it had this really strong bearish push down, but this had this really, really strong bullish reversal, right? So after all this price push down, it had this really strong bullish reversal, right? So this is kind of giving you a little bit of sign that is this bearish market or the bearish trend exhausted, because something like this is really, really strong for the market, and looks like if we're going to get consolidation here, this is likely to continue the upside, right? Okay, and you can almost see this as a larger kind of structure, larger descending structure if you see it this way. Kind of forego about what we have here, which we had at the time had this kind of a bearish breakout, and then we have this kind of larger structure in the making. And this move down is pushing down, and we did hit this low, right? We did hit this low, but just didn't have enough momentum to continue downwards. Now we're basically seeing potential bullish reversal. Now, I don't think this is an entry that I would take or anything, but I think because we had this bullish reversal, it's likely that if we get a consolidation here, there's going to be further upside. But it doesn't really align up, at least the way how I see it, with the overall higher time frame to lower time frame. If we just zoom out a little bit more, impulse and move, double top here, breakdown from the ascending channel, and there is a correction here. Looks like it's going down, right? So even if it had this kind of bullish reversal, to me personally, it doesn't really fit my plan to enter such thing. So I'm still going to reevaluate and kind of see what the price would do. It doesn't necessarily, when we see a bullish reversal, when we see a bullish reversal impulse, that it has to continue to upside. It doesn't necessarily, right? This is likely from some news event. If anyone knows, you're welcome to share. I didn't really pay attention to if anything happened, but this is across the dollar board, right? So there must be some dollar news or whatever it is. Um, but that's kind of how I see on dollar yen. Okay. So moving on, guys. Moving on. Euro Aussie 15 minute is this flag entry. I'm not here to give signals, my friend, so I'm not going to give that answer. Personally, like I said, I went over this earlier. I was picking between Euro Aussie or Pound Aussie. I think Pound Aussie looks a little bit cleaner with the actual proper structure rather than Euro Aussie, which it really did not. Almost looked like an inverse head and shoulder. Now, obviously, there is a little bit of flag here. Obviously, this is an impulse. So if that fits your plan, right? If that fits your plan, that fits your risk management, then you execute accordingly, right? But personally, because I'm in pound Aussie already, so I'm not planning to enter this one. Especially to me, this almost looked like a reversal impulse. The Fed might start tempering soon, perhaps. We don't know what they will do, of course. But if you have any news, if anyone saw any news events or news related stuff, welcome to share. I appreciate that. Swiss yen. So some of you guys were asking me about Swiss yen. Some of you guys actually took a sell, maybe somewhere like this. I forgot. Someone showed me some screenshots. He took a sell here, that it didn't work out. I mean, I think for a couple, for at least 1 or 2 weeks now, I wasn't really bearish on the yen pairs because I stopped seeing the bearish kind of confluence, right? That's why I don't really have any of the yen pairs on watch, because I don't really see the bearish confluence that once I saw before. Okay, so hey, Swiss yen, this could be a double top, right? This is kind of what we're looking at. Double top here. This is an impulsive move, yes. But this area here is a little bit off. Okay, it's a little bit off here. Like, you could argue this could be some sort of head and shoulder, but it's not really breaking down. It's more consolidation here. Okay, and if we zoom out a little bit here, it almost looked like this move was what was once a bearish continuation, kind of evolved into a larger structure now, and still could be a bearish continuation. It's just that this kind of bullish run to the upside hasn't really shown any sign of slowing down. Like, this could be either a potential bullish correction to go higher, even though we are in this potential higher time frame structure. So it's a little bit contradicting to what the original analysis would be to continue lower, because we have this bullish kind of upside. So I'm not really interested in this, nor am I interested in any of the yen pairs, to be honest. I kind of want to see a little bit more confirmation from the price. I don't think this is enough confirmation. Even just because price hits a double top doesn't mean it has to start reversing down now because it hits a double top, right? Double top is one of the confluence you want to look for the potential sell, but overall price action to develop here is still the key here. And I haven't seen any or as much bearish confluence that is going to allow me to put in a position. So I'm happy to wait a little bit longer and see how it goes. Okay. That's the spike that y'all. Okay, I see that. Thanks for that. Aussie dollar is not really on my watch, but I do see Aussie dollar for a potential upside. I think it's pretty similar like Kiwi dollar now. The difference again, it's I think it was a couple months prior, I had that dollar bearish run, and because we start falling into this larger structure now, right? Because we have these few swing highs and few swing lows, we fall into this kind of a descending structure as well, and there is a little bit more lower time frame development. So to me, is looking more like that we might get a little bit more upside. Now, I think I updated this in my weekly outlook when I said that you can either see this as a bearish kind of continuation, or you can see this as a potential bullish reversal. So there is really nothing wrong here. It's just about your perspective. Personally, to me, that because of the higher time frame, because of the overall lower time frame moving down, to me, it's a little bit more bullish. But I haven't really find any bullish confirmation nor a bullish entry yet. I'm still kind of just chilling to see what this area will do. Um, if this is going to break out like this, continuation after, then yeah, that looks more of a bearish confirmation. Then I might look to kind of change the way how I see on this one. But for now, I'm still kind of looking at this is that if this is going to just continue pushing up and potentially form some sort of correction, that's going to at least give you a little bit more bullish bias in the long run here. All right, so that's Aussie dollar. Gold I will talk about after. Not interested in gold right now. Talk about after I finish all the currency. How do you know how far in the past will your 4-hour chart go back? I'm not sure what that means. How far your 4-hour chart go back? I just zoom back, if that's what you meant. I'm not sure what that means, sorry. So Euro Aussie is another thing that I watch. Because I only trade pound Aussie already, so I'm kind of more on the sideline for this. But I think there still could be possibility. I went over this earlier when I update the position I took. Just got off for about 0.5% here. Um, yeah, someone asked about the flag, right? Yeah, I do. Like I said, if that fits your plan to enter a flag like this, if that's something that you have back tested before, if you feel comfortable entering something like this, then obviously follow your plan, right? What's throwing me off here is a little bit is that we had this kind of correction, right? Impulse correction, impulse down, and instead of continuation, we did get that. We had a kind of a sharp pullback, which is fine if we, obviously, if this is going to be a pop, and then if this is going to be a bearish continuation, we might continue. But what's throwing me off is just that there is this reversal impulse, right? And if this is going to consolidate here a little bit longer, this becomes a inverse head and shoulder, which I don't really like to see. So I'm happy to kind of just wait here a little bit longer to see if we're going to get a little bit better bearish bias here. Okay, so when you're in Dow, when you're looking at smaller time frame, or when you're to zoom in on smaller time frame like this, it's best to zoom out a bit, right? It's best to zoom out a bit and then see what the overall price is doing. We do obviously have good higher time frame kind of bias in your favor. We do have this ascending channel, small ascending channel, double top, impulsive breakdown. But you just have to watch out for this part of the price. Is this going to form that bullish continuation or some sort of inverse head and shoulder? It's a little bit too early to tell, right? So what better off to just wait a little bit longer when it comes to something like this. Going down the list, Aussie Kiwi. Some of you guys are asking me about Aussie Kiwi. Sure, let me take a look. So I think it was last week or week before I kind of talked about this part of the price is I was looking actually to see if this is going to be a reversal. Okay, so because I see this push down, this is more like a descending kind of structure where I thought if this is going to break out and continue, this could be a reversal. But price didn't do that, right? It didn't break out, so really no entry or anything. It kind of just pushed down and continued lower. I'm not sure what you guys, whoever is asking me about Aussie Kiwi, uh, Aussie Kiwi in terms of buy or sell. I don't know what you guys are seeing, but the reason why last week I thought this could be a long because this could be a double bottom. If this breaks out and continue further, it could be a bullish run. But it kind of just continue to push down now. So it looks like it's a little bit more Kiwi strength over Aussie strength in this case. So basically, I want to see now is price is actually going to reach this previous low now, right? This was the previous low when price had this kind of a falling wedge, and we had this impulsive move to the upside, right? This was actually a move, if I recall, that I got in as well. We had this really strong push to the upside, so this is a very key point where price likely to react again, right? Um, if we just see how far away from this, we're getting pretty close here, right? So I really don't see the point of selling here now because you're so close to this previous low. Okay, so I don't see the sell here. It's better off for us to actually just wait for price to hit the low, right? If it's just going to continue low to low, and if it's going to form any type of reversal type of price action, then I think buying here would be a much better case than selling, right? You will only sell here if this actually just breaks below this area, and then continuation afterwards to sell, right? But I think because of how the overall move has happened, the bearish move, in my opinion, has already happened, and this is the previous low. I think watching out for the previous low for development is more makes more sense. Okay, a lot of big position going on right now across the board. Yeah, I mean, share with us some of the trades you're in. I don't know if or share with us some of the things that you're looking at. We can take a look together. So we went over Euro Aussie. Let's talk about Pound Aussie now. Since someone's asking me about the position, I can go over again now since we're on the pound pairs now. So we went over this earlier with the overall higher time frame. I like how we have. Let's see if I can find the. So the overall higher time frame, right? We have this kind of higher time frame ascending channel correcting, right? We have this ascending channel within the higher time frame, and then basically looking for bearish downside, right? We have this breakout, we have this little bit of correction here. So basically looking for a potential sell or continuation of this bearish run. Now, if we look at the lower time frame here, recall, I think it was yesterday when I updated everyone in my Telegram, that I entered this sell as here, just as Euro Aussie, I entered this sell here as well. And basically price pushed down and then just had a really sharp reversal. So end up exiting the trade for a break even here. And as the trade moved down once more and then kind of retrace back up, I like how there is few swing highs and few swing low now. And if we zoom out here, I like how, again, this is just one impulsive move. We're breaking out this descending channel. And there is a few swing highs and few swing low to classify this as a structure. So I opt in with a reversal order. So reversal order is the one I always talk about in three of my entries. So I waited for this 1 hour candle to close and just set an entry order in. Set the stop loss above the highs here and even above the high here really. And basically price taking it, and then we'll see how it goes in the upcoming days. That's basically it on Pound Aussie. I like the overall higher time frame to the lower time frame. Everything is pretty aligned up. That we can see this impulsive move is just getting corrected here. We had another impulsive move pushing down, but we fall into this larger kind of parallel channel. And all this is just going to add confluence for a potential kind of reversal from the top, right? We're trying to get in at the top or the beginning of the run of this potential bearish run. That's going to give you extra confluence if you're looking for a sell like this. Great. Pound Kiwi. Pound Kiwi, I think it's also very, very similar like Pound Aussie, but I ended up choosing Pound Aussie because uh, the price action at the time looked a little bit better. But we talk about this in the weekly outlook, right? We had this kind of a double top in the area, and we'll have the price reverse from the top here. So impulse down, correction, and then impulse down again. Now we're basically kind of chilling at this bottom here of this overall structure. Right? Remember, trend line is not a support resistant the way how we trade, right? Trend line here is just to frame the structures. So if it starts consolidating here for a bearish continuation, then I think the sell is valid. Looking for the sell down to the previous low. If it start reversing, right, this is at the low, so anything can happen in this area, right? If it start forming kind of a reversal price action, then be careful. This might just start pushing back up again, even to this top. We don't know if that's going to happen because right now we're at the bottom here. If it breaks out or if it continue, then we know that the structure is finished. We know that this type of ascending structure is reversal in nature, right? But the last confirmation here is it has to either consolidate here a little bit to break out or break out a little bit and consolidate. Either way, it gives you the bearish bias. Whereas if it start forming reversals, then it's not breaking out of the structure and this structure isn't complete. Right? Remember we go through about evolving structures, right? Structures sometimes are not complete. They might make another move up to the top, potentially hitting the top here before the downside, right? And then from a price action point of view, there is nothing wrong, right? Because price just hasn't finished the correction here. It's making another move up just to go down again. Okay, so that's something to be aware of, right? Sometimes I get these messages on traders who enter the trade prematurely because it broke some trend lines or some support resistance line or whatever they're looking at. Um, uh, that's why we need to be careful, right? When we look for entries, we want to need to see consolidation after it breaks out or consolidation here at the bottom. At least it gives you an idea that this is an impulsive move. This is just a continuation to go lower. So let's look at Aussie Swiss. Aussie Swiss is very similar like Euro Aussie. If we look at the price action, I think Aussie Swiss can also be pretty good potential. If we zoom out here, this is the part where zooming out actually makes a lot of sense. So if we look at the higher time frame here, after this correction, this is the COVID drop, right? This is the COVID market crash, and you basically have a COVID recovery, continuation, impulsive move down. Could this be another continuation? Okay, so if we look at the lower time frame here, this is also the previous kind of continuation correction, and we actually see pretty strong bullish upside. Right, this is basically showing you that the bullish run is very, very strong, right? We just continue, continue, continue. And now we're after this kind of a strong bullish run, naturally price needs to correct, right? Just like how this was a really strong bullish run, price needs to correct within and then further upside. And now you have to see this as a bullish run, and this is a correction that the price is in currently. So how I see this is very, very similar like Euro Aussie, that we had this kind of a channel or flag kind of correcting the way, and then we had this descending channel kind of a pattern separation. But remember, I'm gonna do the workshop tomorrow on pattern separation. But here's the the gist of it is that the pattern separation is going to either give you a strengthen in your analysis. Like let's say if you're looking for a bullish bias, right? Bullish impulse, this is a bullish continuation. So you're obviously having a bullish bias. A pattern separation here is going to strengthen your bullish bias because this is a descending channel, and descending channel is a bullish reversal, right? So even though this structure is kind of separating from this pattern here, but the overall run doesn't change, the overall consolidation doesn't change, and that leads you to still have a potential bullish bias in the long run. So to me here, the confirmation, at least the way how I would get involved here is this descending channel has to finish, right? If you guys recall, I think it was during the weekly outlook or last week when price is somewhere here, I mentioned I would prefer for the price to push down to have a few swing highs and few swing low, which it did. And now if we could break out followed by continuation, that's going to show you that this descending channel is complete, and breakout and then continuation bullish pattern and looking for the upside to the top there. And if this is going to be the next bullish run now, if this is going to be the next bullish run, just like how we have this bullish run, then do we expect price to break out and then a continuation to the top after for a weekly or monthly kind of outlook? Very, very similar, right? You see how this impulsive breakout, continuation, break up again, continuation, breakout again. And because this is just one big impulse on the higher time frame, basically what that is telling you that this is a larger continuation for a potential up move. Okay, so that's kind of what I see on Aussie Swiss. Very similar like Euro Aussie, very similar on Kiwi Swiss as Aussie Swiss is very similar like Kiwi Swiss as well, which I will go over after. Any question here? You're welcome, buddy. Love your trading style. How far is it you draw a figure? Again, I went over these a lot of times. I will draw the higher time frame, lower time frame differently. Remember, I split the chart into two. I will have the higher time frame, and I will only draw the higher time frame structure. Right, so these are daily. Now you really don't need to go back that far. There's really not. These are not really applicable prices compared to what's going on here. Really, what you're looking at is the latest kind of price action. Really, this is the only area that you really need to watch about. All we need to know here is impulsive move correction, impulsive move. That's a bearish impulsive move, and now we have a bullish reversal, bullish continuation for the upside. So what does this tell you? Again, we talk about this many times, right? Reversal impulse, right? That is basically what it's telling you. A strong move, whether it's to downside or upside, if it's not followed by continuation correction, if it's not even followed by reversal correction, they just have another impulse up, which is exactly what happened here. If it's followed by a continuation correction, it has a very strong probability of continuation, which is exactly what happened here. Now, all we really need to worry about now is if this is an impulsive move and this is a correctional period, can we reasonably expect another move up to the top, to this previous top here where price kind of became its corrective structure? Certainly can have a bias here for the upside and then look for another upside after. So that is how I will draw the higher time frame structure. And if you go to the lower time frame, really, there's no point of me drawing back any further, right? You don't see me any charts. If I keep scrolling back, there's really nothing going on here that is applicable to what is going on here. Okay. So one last one to go over is Kiwi Swiss. I think I went over this earlier, but I'll go over again about the overall run. All right, so very, very, very similar like Aussie Swiss, right? If we look at what the price here is doing, so again, this is the COVID correction. This is the COVID drop. We had pretty much a recovery here. Depending on how you see this, this could be a continuation correction here. So impulse, continuation correction. We have another impulse now. This one is slightly better because I see this as a descending channel. And again, this is not something that I will, start drawing in like this or anything. It really doesn't matter because this is an impulse down and a reversal impulse, right? You don't always have to consider all these here. But what it's telling you is that there is a descending kind of structure here. There is an impulsive move breaking out of this descending structure, and it looks like there could be a continuation correction here. A continuation flag, continuation channel, however you see this as, and potentially looking for another upside. So how I see this on the lower time frame, again, we have this kind of flag or channel structure correcting down, and there's almost like another smaller lower time frame descending channel as well. So I like everything I've seen. I like everything I'm seeing, and basically just waiting for a impulse break And finally, a little bit of a correction structure that is more noticeable for me, and I just open with an entry order, and let's see how it goes. Right? It doesn't have to necessarily break up. It's basically reaching to the top, and there is consolidation, which is fine for me to enter a position here. And I mentioned at the beginning, even if I take a loss here, which is fine, I'm just going to reevaluate to see if we're going to get a deeper consolidation. If it does, then I will look for another upside. It's pretty simple. I'm fine taking a loss here if that's going to happen, and I will look to re-enter a trade after if I see enough confluence to re-enter. All right. So that is Kiwi Swiss. Any question here on any of the Forex pairs? I think we went over all the ones that you guys are asking. So um, welcome to go through any other pairs before I move on to other market. Okay. Okay, so let's continue. If there's no question here, let's talk about commodities here. Looks like still asking about gold. Again, I updated this, I think, in the weekly outlook, so just 2 days ago, and still not much has developed here, guys. Sometimes I feel some traders are too zoomed in on certain things. So something like this that happens is just a way for the market to punish impatient traders. I'm gonna use a little bit harsh term, but hopefully this is getting into some traders who fell for something like this. Now, when you see a move like this happen on the 5 minute chart, and you're like, holy, well, is gold going to take off without me, and they're going to start jumping in somewhere in the middle, hoping to catch the next up move. But in reality, if you think about it, this is really not that big of a move, right? This is about $18, right? If we zoom out on the higher time frame here, $18 on gold is really a fraction of what's going on here, right? So that's how the market tends to punish people when something like this happens, because a lot of traders are just going to have FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. They think this is going to take off without them, and they're going to jump in the middle just to see this drop. Okay, so be careful if you're experiencing something like this, or you know yourself have FOMO and you can let go your emotion if you see something like this. Always tell yourself there is market to trade every single day. The market moves every single day as well. So there's no need to jump in and rush things. Okay, your number one job as a trader, if you're not consistent yet, is to be consistent. Okay, it's not here to generate massive profit. Okay, it's to be consistent first. Understand risk management, control your account, don't blow your account like the 90% traders do, is they will eventually blow the accounts and then quit, right? You don't want to be like that. And if you don't want to be like that, then remove your FOMO, right? Remove your emotion, understanding that the market will move every single day. If you miss some opportunity, so be it, right? If this is going to be a move breaking out, there's certainly going to be more consolidation to buy if that's going to be the up move now, right? So trying to jump in on the 5 minute chart here on gold and then just to get uh, reversed now like that, it's just not wise, okay? So what I see here now is a consolidation. Yes, you're right. What I see here on gold is just a pure consolidation because I really don't see a buy or sell at this given moment. I really still don't see. Right? It's not as clear as something from the bottom here where we actually had like a decent structure. We had a double bottom here, and the up move is pretty clear because we were at the bottom of this higher time frame structure. Right? So a bullish up move is pretty clear. Whereas right where we are right now, it's really not much here. Okay, right? It's just a little bit of consolidation. It's just moving up, ascending like, but it's really not a impulsive move. Remember the key here to the key in price action trading, or really in trading in general, at least the way how I understand it is you need to distinguish what an impulsive phase in the market is. You need to distinguish what a consolidation phase is in the market, right? Doesn't matter what kind of strategy you trace, right? Maybe you don't use these terms, or maybe you don't trade or trade this type of method. It really doesn't matter, but you need to understand why the market moves and why the market corrects. Okay, so understanding what an impulsive phase is and understanding what a consolidation phase is will help you to capture the next impulsive phase, which is what you want to do, right? As a trader, you don't want to get stuck in the consolidation because this is where trading is usually going to be. The trade is going to move up and down very slowly, not much movement. You're likely to get taken out of your positions. But when the consolidation finishes, you're going to get the next impulsive phase, which is what you want to be as a trader in general. Okay. So to me, yes, I do agree this is a period of consolidation. Certainly, this can be a correction on its own, something like that. I'm not really looking to buy or sell. I'm not even looking to sell, even if this breaks down. But this is the area that I will be very, very inclined to watch out for any potential reversals. That's kind of how I probably want to play this. Is that let this thing correct if it's going to correct, and if it pushes down, great. I want to see how far it goes. Does it push down to the low here? And then if we start getting some sort of bullish reversal price action, then this could be that long-term buy that I've been talking about for quite a bit of time, right? But until then, really, there is no entry here, right? I'm not planning to enter here. I don't really see an entry here as well either, right? This could be a top here if you want to see this. You can see that a bullish push up is quickly reversed by a reversal down. We don't know if this is going to be a top. In fact, we don't even know if this is going to be a bearish continuation yet. So it's just best to wait, guys. There is really no entry for me, at least the way how I see it. I'm sure you're going to get different people's opinion on gold and how they want to buy or sell. For me, is I'm not looking to buy or sell here until I get a little bit more clear development here. All right. Um, let's take a look at other ones. Just trade patterns and channels, no moving average fibs. I want to say I don't want to say I just trade channels. I think channels is just one type of price action structure as a pattern, but it's just one of those things that happens the most frequently. Okay, but we overall what we do is we look at impulsive phases or correction phases, right? So we're price action traders where we're actually really just looking at the two different market phases that happens, right? The variation of how people call these terms, accumulation, consolidation, really doesn't matter because the simplest way to understand that there is an impulsive move and there is continuation. I mean, correctional structure. That's all it is to it, right? If you look at higher time frame on gold, right, it's as clear as black and white that this is an impulsive move, this is a correction. This is an impulsive move, this is a correction. This is an impulsive move, this is a correction. This is an impulsive move, and we are basically anticipating this is going to be another correction. Now, I don't trade moving average, fibs, support resistance, supply demand, whatever. I always say I have nothing against those type of strategy or style. It's just that I don't combine them. You find out if you combine more and more strategies, it's just going to be information overload. It's just contradicting each other. It's not helpful when you have support resistance, some EMA lines, some supply demand, some Fibonacci, some Elliott wave. Everything on your chart becomes a little bit too messy, and you have a bunch of indicators on the bottom. Your chart is just going to become something like this, where it's almost hard to even make a forecast because you can say like, okay, well, this hit my support, so I should be buying. But wait, this is my EMA line or some Fibonacci where I shouldn't be buying, right? It's just going to be too much contradicting information and contradicting analysis that it doesn't help you. So eliminate all those lines, right? Eliminate all those lines. You really don't need all that information on there. I suggest if you're going to use those, just stick to one, right? You don't need to be combining all of them because they're likely not going to help you. Where was I? So we're talking about silver. Silver did end up pushing down. I thought silver was going to be one that is going to be pushing down to the bottom here, which is kind of what I wanted to see. If it does push down, and then basically same with gold, this is a larger structure that we're making, right? This is an impulsive move. We have a few swing highs and a few swing lows, and the price does indeed make the bottom here and then reverse. Then definitely looking for long-term buy here is really straightforward, and that's something that I will look to capitalize on. But for now, I don't really see much here. Originally, it was looking like it was going to go down, and we kind of get this inverse head and shoulder pattern as well. So it's throwing me off a little bit in terms of the bearish bias. Um, and you can see today we had this kind of a push up and then push down. So more and more a little bit irregular price action. So I'm more happy to just wait a little bit more. But same with gold, like I said, if it does push down eventually, then looking for the buy, looking for a reversal makes more sense. But I don't really see a sell setup. I don't really see an entry at all based on what I'm seeing here. I think someone in my Telegram mentioned they got in on the platinum, so good job on your part. I do see this as an impulsive move. I do see this as a correction. It is pushing down. I think the only thing you need to be careful is, again, this is probably a pattern separation, is that this bearish push down is good, but this move isn't as impulsive as something that we want to see. I think that's the only small things that you should be aware of, is that this move down looks a little bit correctively. So if it continuously correctively move down to this kind of a bottom here, if they start bullish reversal up now, then you need to be careful. Maybe exit your trade position, whatever, because this can easily move up to the top here and basically forming a bigger structure for the downside, right? Remember, pattern evolves, right? What was once a bearish continuation pattern can easily evolve into a bigger bearish continuation pattern, right? This is still an impulsive move. This is just a larger continuation and then still the happen sell afterwards, right? So sometimes the pattern evolves, right? Sometimes the pattern, this correction is just not enough to correct this move. Eventually we form into a bigger correction, but the downside is the same, right? All right. Any question on commodities, guys? Before I move on to the indices, I do want to go over some indices as well. But I just want to touch base on the commodities before I go there. Oil, is it forming head and shoulder? Is that what you mean? HAs, head and shoulder? Inverse head and shoulder. I think that's what you meant, right? Right? Is that what you meant, Adam? Inverse head and shoulder? I think this is kind of what you meant. Uh, Hopefully, or maybe you're seeing, or you just mean head and shoulder, inverse head and shoulder. Yeah. I mean, this is this is a little bit off kind of price where originally I thought that this could be a bearish kind of move down from the price, right? And remember the original. Let me see if I can find it. Oops, sorry. So originally, kind of looking at that, this was going to continue downwards. We did see this push down from the price. We just couldn't see continuation after. that was the downside of this. Really, I was looking forward to see if this is going to break out of the structure after from a double top on the higher time frame, and if it's going to get further downside opportunity. But it did not. It kind of just reversed back up. And when it's reversing back up, and I was kind of telling myself, well, if we can reverse back to the top, to this top here, then definitely kind of looking for more sell opportunity if that happens, right? But really, that did not happen. Unfortunately, it kind of form a little bit of a correction here, and then looks like it's just dropping down now. I really wouldn't say this is an inverse head and shoulder because inverse head and shoulder are best effective when they're at like the overall bottom of the overall structure, like something like here, right? When I move down, push down, if there was a inverse head and shoulder down here, it's a good reversal. Whereas this doesn't look like it's at the bottom of overall structure, and this is already kind of way past kind of the left shoulder or right. It's a little bit more downside now, right? So I really, at least from my point of view, I don't see this as a head and shoulder or inverse head and shoulder. What I would actually want to see now is if this move is going to continue breaking this previous low and form continuation, then that would actually make me look for potential sell entries down further. Okay, because that kind of gives me an idea that this move push down, kind of correct itself, and then push down again past the low. Basically, this structure is potentially finished now. So if we get continuation after we break out of that consolidation here, and I do like the further downside, I think that kind of have good probability in the in the near future, or something like that. So for now, at least, I don't see that. I don't see a bullish run at the moment. Is this recording video view later? Yeah, my friend. You can view it on TradingView, or you on my TradingView. You can find them in my account. You can look at stream. All the streams are basically safe as long as they can. Or you can watch them on my YouTube channel, which is this Aries Trading Type. All my streams are saved in my playlist. So midweek market update. You can find all my midweek market update streams from here. So you're welcome to watch them again. So let me finish up the commodities and the indices. Looks like there's a few Forex pairs which I kind of gone over, but I'll go back there later once I finish all the ones that I want to go over. Think you really learned a lot. Great. Happy to hear that. How long did it take you to see the market better after putting in the chart work? I'm going to be very honest with you, Andrew, a lot of the time. Trading really doesn't come instantaneously. So don't expect to really pick it up right away. Now I'm not doubting you or anything. I'm just giving you a really perspective on it because this is my 8th year in trading, number 8 in trading. I don't think I get to more consistent or more sustainable after year 3 or so, to be honest. Okay, so 3-4 years of I don't want to say losing trader. I want to say inconsistent trading. Inconsistent trading doesn't mean you're not making profit. It just means that sometimes your risk management is off. Sometimes you fall into negative emotion, bad trading psychology, revenge trading, FOMO, things like that. Those are some of the trading psychology you can expect, right? But those really takes time to adjust and to learn and to make mistakes so you don't make the same mistakes again. Okay. Um, so it does take time. I would say for me personally, it took a couple years, but certainly different. Everyone learns things differently in different speed, and different people have different ways of picking up on things, right? So there is a lot of free information, right? There's a lot of free information online that you are welcome to utilize because it's going to help you to learn things a little bit quicker. Make sure you learn from actual good sources, though, right? The ones out there on social media where they're just giving you a bunch of promises, unrealistic results, flashy things are not really there to teach you, right? This is the industry we're in. I just made a video today or yesterday about this topic, about how I really don't like social media for trades trading. Basically, it's that, right? So make sure you dig a little bit, do a little bit more research Don't pay money to anyone right away, right? Make sure you've done enough homework on them or research, making sure they're a legitimate trader, they're not here to scam you or take your money or anything like that. Then you can slowly learn from such sources, right? So, natural gas, yes, I can look at natural gas. I think I talked about this maybe a few weeks ago. I mentioned this structure here was a little bit throwing me off. That I mentioned this could be a potential reversal if it doesn't break out. But it did break out, so which is good, right? We did see a breakout from the price, which is a good thing. And we had a little bit of consolidation as well. So that kind of shows you the further upside momentum. From a weekly or from a higher time frame perspective, when you see something like this, it's really looking clean because this is a clear kind of a descending channel that's been correcting for like 12 years, right? This is a larger, higher time frame structure that's in the making. This is a strong bearish move down, but it's not followed by continuation right away. This is a long period consolidation, long period of a descending structure. So if this can actually break above and continuation afterwards, then this can be a long-term kind of investment buy. Okay, not necessarily trading wise, but it can be an investment almost for a long-term approach. Okay, but first thing first, it has to kind of continue upwards, right? I don't see buying here makes more sense. I think buying here is okay because you break out the structure here and there's a little bit more room to the upside. But we're getting very, very close to the top here now. And just like what has happened in the past, when price does reach the high, you can see this couple times already. When price does reach the high, what does it do? It drops, right? Because it's showing you that there is a structure in the making. So I'm not saying this move is going to drop, but you just have to be careful when this move touches the top here. Is it going to start reversing back down to the low and then push up right away? Or is this just going to break up and followed by continuation? There's really no need to guess, right? The way how I always say is there's no need to guess. If you're into buying natural gas for the long term, just wait for price to break out and then wait for a consolidation, wait for the price to get you in, right? And if you're looking for a reversal, then when this price does hit the top here, watch for a reversal, watch for kind of bearish activity, bearish price action, whether or not they're going to form. Obviously I wouldn't know what they will form, but it can eventually consolidate into a ascending channel, or it can form some sort of head and shoulder, it can form some sort of mini double top, M style pattern, whatever it's going to do, it has to give you a bearish kind of confluence to look for a sell. Right? But personally, I would like to see this just continue breaking above, which is what I want to eventually get involved in if we can get a consolidation here for the buy. Okay. That is natural gas. So let's look at, how about I jump back to the Forex pairs first? Looks like you guys are asking about pound yen, and a couple of you guys are asking pound yen. Some yen pairs, I'll quickly go over these, and then I will go back to the indices. Now, pound yen. I think I talked about this in the weekly outlook on Monday. Is that I think some of you guys were asking me if this is going to be a sell down, and apparently some of you guys caught this potential sell. But I mentioned about potential inverse head and shoulder when it's at the bottom of the overall price, right? You see this. The difference here is this has already pushed down, and we broke all of this kind of a parallel channel. But this move down wasn't continue. It didn't form continuation to go lower. It forms another inverse head and shoulder on the lower time frame. This pushes up and then looks like there is a ascending channel and we push it down. But to me, that's not enough of a sell. I think that was like more of a short term thing. And then indeed, when it reached the low here, it started kind of consolidate a little bit more. So just like what I mentioned earlier about the yen pairs, I haven't been bearish on them since this bullish reversal because I thought that this breaks out did not continue. This almost looks like an inverse head and shoulder now. If this consolidation works and if it breaks above this area, then this is likely to continue higher. Okay, so I don't really see the sell. I think that's what majority of you guys are asking me about. It's if it's going to be a sell. I mean, I really don't see much. I don't even want to see this as a almost. I don't even see this as a structure almost. I think what it's telling you here is price is not breaking lower this low area, right? It's not breaking lower this area, and I kind of see this is kind of what I'm looking at. So if this is going to continue upwards, then expect that to happen, to go break above this high here, which is like the neckline of this inverse head and shoulder, and then continue higher. So I don't see the sell bias, okay, at this given moment. Uh, Perhaps if this area develop a little bit longer, this might lead into a sell, but personally, I am not seeing that sell at the moment. Okay, now let's continue to Euro Yen. Someone asked me about Euro Yen as well, pound yen and Euro Yen. Um, Euro Yen looks a little bit better. I think this is a little bit better. We did have this kind of a continuation, right? Price actually dropped quite a bit from the top here, so I think good job on some of you guys to catch this overall run. Now, because we are getting low to this area here, this was like a previous low area. The price is basically had a bottom here before the upside. So you want to be a little bit more careful, even though the downside is looking like it's continued. But again, you have to compare to see if we're going to get further continuation here to push down, right? A lot of these retracement, a lot of these corrections, sometimes is a little bit wider, just like this one. A sharp impulse down had a really sharp reversal impulse, but it's still forming continuation push down. Now, if we go to the lower time frame here, because what was once a continuation correction, right? If I join like this, we could see that there's a nice impulse. We have a correction, we push down, another correction to push lower. But instead, this almost becomes a reversal now because it basically reverts up the price, right? So if this is going to be some sort of a line that, again, this might be an inverse head and shoulder. Again, it's at the bottom of the overall price. It's forming you that there is a bottom here, and price is failing to push lower after forming that correction that we saw. Okay, so all these are going to impact at least the way how I'm going to judge this, or at least the way how I'm going to analyze this situation. So something like this, it's a little bit off, and it's not as clear as something, all the way from the top where it's clear we break out, continuation and drop, right? So I'd rather be a little bit more cautious and patient to see what this area is going to do. So I don't see much sell here, I don't see much buy, but I think I'm just more neutral at this point with all the yen pairs especially, and I'm going to basically happily just kind of chill out and wait for the price to develop more. So that's pound yen and Aussie pound yen and euro yen. Eurocad quickly is not much I'm seeing here. Some of you guys asked me about Eurocad a lot. I think this could be a little bit of correction. I don't know how you guys are seeing this, but I do think this could be an impulsive move. This could be a larger correction in the making. And but I think I updated this again. It's like I felt like this was getting very, very close to the low, right? I think this is kind of what I'm saying is this low here is pretty much the previous low when price kind of had this move up. So while I do think this is a nice impulse and reversal impulse, it looks like this could be a continuation. I still think there were quite not much room to the downside. This looks like this is just going to. I'm not sure if, depending on your entry, can you actually hit 3 to 1, or can you hit more than that? I'm not sure. But judging by what I see here, this does look like a correction, but it just doesn't fit my plan to enter. We're not at the top, right? We can see how much price has already dropped. If this happens at the top of the price action, like something like this, right? We push down, followed by another correction. We push down again. We have another correction. We push down again, right? You see all these cells that I personally point out. Um, they all look very valid at the time, right? Because they're at the top of the price action. But because has already dropped quite a bit, again, so when I'm looking for cells, I want to look for cells when the price is at the overall top, so you know you have more room to go. When the price is already at the bottom, right, you want to look for potential buy rather than potential sell. Okay, so that's kind of how I see this, at least from my point of view. So any question? Let's move on to some indices. I did take a little bit longer to go through all this, but I wanted to answer all the questions I got here. So let's look at a few indices. It's going to be very similar to what I talk about in the weekly outlook. In the weekly outlook, I have all these indices. I was looking at them like this. I mentioned that this looks like a bullish continuation, right? Looks like there's a bullish push up. Looks like this is a bullish continuation. But as long as we're still in this overall higher time frame kind of parallel channel, to me, as long as this doesn't break above and continue, then I still hold a bearish bias on the top here. If that develops, right? I'm not just going to short here for some unknown reason, some 5 hour, 4 hour candle or something like that, high cuts. That's not enough to sell. What is enough to sell here is if this pushes up and then really quickly push down, followed by a consolidation, then yeah, head and shoulder pattern, top of the overall high structure, top of the higher time frame channel. I do expect this to have a higher probability of playing out. But if this doesn't happen, then no entry, right? Remember, it's fine if your forecast doesn't work out or it doesn't play out, right? Some people might think, oh my God, my forecast didn't work out. Like I must be doing something wrong. No, not at all, right? That's just why you make forecasts so you don't get sucked into a silly entry or a mediocre entry where it takes it reduces your account, right? You gotta think of it this way: you make forecasts and you make confirmation before you entry, so you don't just blindly enter any trades. So that way, you're not only you're securing your profit in your account, you have really good risk management, so you don't take unnecessary losses. So Nasdaq, S&P 500, same idea, right? I talk about that this structure is still developing since Monday, so it's been consolidating here for 2 days now. So impulsive move up. This is a consolidation. Is this going to break up? If it's going to break up followed by more continuation, then again, like I said, it voids everything I talk about here. But if this is going to start consolidating more neutral wise and then eventually break down, followed by bearish continuation, then this becomes a reversal, and we know this is certainly a reversal kind of parallel channel moving up. So definitely looking for something like this if the price actually breaks down and then continuation correction afterwards. Same thing with Dow Jones, same idea, right? Same consolidation across the S&P and Nasdaq. It's all basically consolidating here after this bullish reversal. But as I said, as long as we're still in this higher time frame correction, just like S&P 500, we're still in this higher time frame kind of channel, and just like Nasdaq, we're in this higher time frame structure still. My bias doesn't change. I don't shift them until I see something that requires me to change. Right? If this impulsively break up, bullish continuation. So everything I talk about here is no longer bearish. This becomes kind of like a bullish continuation to bullishly correct this up move, and we can expect further upside. But until then, right? Until we see that happen, the bearish bias here still is valid. We still can see that this is a top that the price is reacting to. And if this is going to break down followed by bearish continuation, then expect this to at least push to the low here, if not push down to this previous low. Okay, so that is the indices. I really just gonna kind of go over the US indices, which is kind of the only ones that look like that has potentials here in the upcoming days or week. Now, any question here on indices before I go to crypto and talk about a few crypto pair? Inverse head and shoulder with dollar trade. Where are you looking at for inverse head and shoulder? I'm curious. I'm not seeing. I don't know what time frame you're looking at, or is that even the right symbol you're telling me about? Oh, you're looking at something here, huh? Like way smaller here. Um, I mean, sure. If you want me to identify if this is a structure, If this is a structure, sure, this is looking like this could be an inverse head and shoulder. But again, I think you might be too zoomed in here, right? Sure, you're looking at 15 minutes, it looks like that is what's going on here. But I think if we zoom out here a little bit, right? If we zoom out here a little bit, um, I'm not sure this is enough of a confluence for you to be buying right away, at least from my perspective. Just because I see this as an impulsive move, this looks like a correction here. Sure, we're pushing down, and if this is going to be an impulsive move pushing up, I just don't know if this is enough of a correction. Certainly, it is an inverse head and shoulder structurally, right? If we're just talking about identifying the structure, yes, it is an inverse head and shoulder. I'm just not sure if this move right here is quickly already reversed, right? I think a bigger correction here is needed to push it to the upside. I think that would be at least a better confluence. At least you see a bullish reversal impulse and bullish continuation correction. I think that is a little bit better because I see this as a larger continuation correction for this move, right? So something here has to kind of offset that as well for a further upside, at least from my point of view. You're welcome. Now, let's go to crypto. Let's kind of wrap it up with some crypto pairs. I was looking at Cardano. I talked about Cardano for a few times as well. I think Cardano looking like there is something here that we could expect for the upside. But this is the high here, or this is the high here that price needs to break first and then continuation afterwards. Okay, so I'm going to quickly go over a few of the crypto pairs that are looking pretty bullish. So I do like what I'm seeing here on Cardano. I think Binance Coin is also looking good now, right? We see this breakout. Well, first we had this original impulse move to the upside. We had this kind of a reversal down, but we fall into this kind of a triangle or pivot. In this case, it could be a reversal correction and waiting for price to break out and continuation, which is kind of what we're getting here. So I do expect back that this can actually reach this high here and then reevaluate to see if the price is going to continue upwards after it breaks above this high here. Ethereum looks like it's pushing up massively. It's too bad that I couldn't able to hold this position that I was originally in on. So I like how we had this kind of a higher time for descending structure, double bottom here, and looking for price to hit this high here, right? Basically, we're almost at this high here. Again, too bad that I couldn't be able to hold to this position, end up with a break even, but price is continued to the desired direction, which is great. All I'm going to see now is this high here is going to be similar across the crypto board. Is that if this is going to break up and continue, which is what I expect to see, and I'll definitely look for a potential entry again. Breaking above this high is key, just like Bitcoin, which I'll go over, is that breaking above it shows you that this is an overall reversal structure. We're pushing above and gives you a continuation bullish correction, then expect the next potential bullish run. But if it doesn't break above that high, if it kind of just shut down after reaching this high here and reverse back down, then this becomes a reversal correction for this overall move to go down. Okay, so be careful at this high. That's basically what you need to worry about. So Bitcoin is kind of a similar idea, guys, right? Remember we talked about this many sessions. I mentioned about what was once a structure like this, right? I want to see if it breaks out, if it's going to break out impulsively, and I want to expect price to actually break above this area, and then continuation. That's going to prove to you a potential bullish run. Now, so some of you guys were looking for the short here, and I don't think it's wrong looking for the short here, to be honest. I think it's fine looking for the short if it gives you that ascending channel, kind of a reversal bias. Now, the entry wise, I don't think this push down was followed by correction. Maybe this is a correction some of you guys saw. But as this move correctively moved down, this is that pattern separation thing that we talk about is this is supposed to be ascending channel, which is a reversal kind of price action. And if we see this as a larger continuation correction for this move, So this move down is followed by a continuation. Naturally, a lower time frame reversal should give you a pretty strong impulsive breakdown, which it did not, right? So I think this is a key here. After breaking out of this ascending channel, it falls into this kind of descending channel almost, and it kind of reverse up now, right? So potentially someone was looking at a head and shoulder, maybe that will develop, but right now this is the area to watch out for. If it's going to just start reversing back up, then this is no longer valid to short, right? This becomes that bullish kind of reversal, and this overall price action could be just a reversal correction now to go higher. Okay, so be careful on these kind of situations. See a lot of people trying to jump in to buy or sell. I think it's just better to wait a little bit longer. Uh, Definitely, we all want to buy Bitcoin for a long term, or you want to invest in Bitcoin or trade Bitcoin. It really doesn't matter. But I think this area I want to be a little bit more cautious for the upside and just wait for the upside move to actually happen and wait for consolidation for the next buy. I think that's going to be a little bit safer. Went over Ethereum, so I'll talk about Litecoin. I think Litecoin is looking good as well. You see the previous bull run, there's a lot of these bull run correction, bull run correction, bull run correction. And this to me is more descending like construction. And I like how we have a double bottom here, impulsively break out, and basically I am waiting for a potential continuation, right? So we break out this consolidation. If we can get a consolidation here, gives you that inverse head and shoulder. We have the breakout, we have the reversal structure, double bottom here. All those going to add confluence to this potential upside move. Matic, very similar idea as well, right? We have this kind of a descending structure here, descending channel, almost like a falling wedge, and price getting squeezed, and then really strong impulse breakout, which is good. So naturally, you want to look for a continuation, right? Which is kind of what we're expecting here to see. I would wait for at least the price to have a tangible correction, something like this. Again, it can give you that inverse head and shoulder pattern as well. So a little bit of consolidation here is nice, and perhaps looking for the next long would be very, very good. Just to the high here, I think would be reasonable. I think that's about it, everyone. Unless you guys have other pairs you want me to go over in crypto market, I'm happy to go over some. But those are the ones that I am looking out for or watching out for the days and weeks to come. I think Ethereum is looking really, really nice. Just gonna see what the price will do when it hit this top. So any question, guys? Any question on any of the pairs I went through today, or any other pairs that you want me to take a look quickly? Uh, Happy to go over some right now. You're welcome, Rolando. Nice to see you. You're welcome. You're welcome, Victoria. Good. Did I watch Doge? I can take a look at Doge again. I didn't talk about Doge, but let's take a look. Did I talk about gold? I did. I can go back after. Dogecoin. So what I once saw from Doge was I like how we had this kind of a descending structure to the a double bottom here. This was the previous kind of a bearish impulse down, a kind of a reversal impulse, so to speak, and falling to this larger correction. And I was kind of looking to see if we can break out now. Now we did break out, but there's not really a structure at the time. But I think something here could be developing, and I kind of wanted to see if this is going to be a structure on its own, right? So we have this previous structure, we have an impulsively break, and looking to see if this is going to be another continuation, at least to the top here, and see how it will go. Now, I think a lot of people are losing faith in Doge or losing patience. I think it's fine. Although, if you look at it fundamentally, what's this utility, things like that, and which is an argument for another day. But if I'm looking solely from a technical perspective, I think there is potential run here if we can get something like this. And if this is going to be another squeeze out and a potential upside, I do think this has potential. Now, whenever in doubt in crypto, especially crypto market, you just have to look at the higher time frame, and you just have to look at how far the market has grown. If we just zoom out here on Dogecoin, start off from basically nothing, right? There's a few big run, correction, big run, correction. Look how small this correction is compared to this one before the huge upside. Right, this is where really it goes from like 1 cent to where it was today, right? So when you're in doubt, just zoom out, right? And when you're in doubt in crypto, just make sure you have the log, select log, so you can actually see the price a little bit more clearly. Without the log, you're basically seeing just a straight line like this, which is impossible to put analysis on. When you put it log, it's just a little bit easier for you to see the price action a little bit better. So to me is that if this is going to be some sort of consolidation for weeks and months, that's fine. Right? See how long this one went for pretty much 1 or 2 years before the huge upside. So you should expect the same thing here, right? Yeah. What do you know about long? Yeah. What's my opinion? So like I said, kind of looking at this to see if it's going to be a bullish continuation. If that gets out, right, I think it's fine to trade them. Now, of course, there is a difference between trading crypto and kind of investing crypto on a higher time frame or whatever how you want to see. Personally, um, I think there's pros and cons to doing both, right? So depending on what you plan to do with your capital, but I think with crypto, you should probably do a combination of them, right? You can buy physical coins to hold for a long time, and you can trade on margin, right? Just speculating on the coins, of course. So did I cover Kiwi yet? I did not, but I will go over that after. To get a view trades like yours, is it Trading View Pro? What do you mean by view trades like yours? Can you explain a little bit more? View trades like yours, like you mean like this? Like view trades like this, or what? Yes. No, you don't need TradingView Pro. In fact, all the free versions should be allow you to do it. What I do here is a post. First of all, this is an idea, right? So this is an idea that I post on my TradingView page. So you can post ideas. Anybody with a TradingView account uh, can publish like this, right? Publish an idea, right? Make sure it is not private. It has to be public, right? So you type in whatever analysis idea you want to do, publish the idea. After 15 minutes, you can no longer delete it, and now it will be on your chart forever if you highlight it like this. So what I do is when I post an idea, I will highlight it so I can always refer back to it, right? So when you refer back to it, it is going to back to the exact time. Let's say this is July 21st. So I post this July 21st. It will always start from the time where you post, right? And then you can always click this arrow to see if the trade works out or if the trade doesn't work out. What was the development after? Sometimes I do this as a forecast, right? This is not like a signal or anything. I do this as a forecast. So let's say I forecast the price to break up and then continuation to get in or whatever, right? This is a good way to do journal, right? When you do your journal, this is kind of what I do is I create idea and post. Like all I need to do now is copy the link. I can post onto my journal so I can see the idea at the time when I'm entering the positions. Trying on laptop, but still hard to see in the bigger hours. It's because you need to understand. Let's say this is on a 1 hour chart. When you make a post or idea, it's only gonna appear on 1 hour. So if I go to 2 hours, it's no longer there. Okay, are you with me on this? It has to be on the same chart where you post it. So right now on the 1 hour, if I make a post here, it's only going to show up on the 1 hour. If I go to any other time frame, right? 2 hour, daily, weekly, 15 minute, 5 minute, it's never going to show up on those time frame. So the time frame where you publish the idea is where the idea will be. Okay. So I'm just going back to what you guys said. Someone asked about gold. Sorry, I got sidetracked a little bit. I don't really see much on gold, which I kind of updated earlier. I still see this as a period of consolidation. Really, it's nothing changed from me from the weekly perspective, weekly outlook. Sorry. Now, I still see this as an impulsive move. This looks like just a period of consolidation. And I mentioned earlier today, I thought a lot of traders probably got trapped here because of a little bit of volatility here in the market, which is not, if you have this kind of similar issue, make sure you work on your emotion. Make sure you eliminate the FOMO emotion because it's definitely not helping traders to be consistent, right? Now, I mentioned still that I'm looking to see if this is going to be a bearish push down from the price. I'm not even really looking to enter these kind of situations, but I would want to see price to push down and then look for a reversal afterwards if it hits around this low, hits around this area, bottom of this higher time frame structure. I think it's a better way to be buying here. But as of now, I really don't see entry whether to buy or sell here. At least I don't see entries that fits my personal plan or the way how I trade. Certainly, there's going to be many people who are trading gold now. That's different strategy, different style, different opinion, of course, right? Everybody is entitled to trade how they like. But personally, for me, I don't see any entry possibility anything right now. Gold, Doge, Kiwi Yen, sure. So I kind of went over all the yen pair, or at least I kind of go over what I mentioned about what I think about the yen pairs. I haven't had the bearish bias on yen ever since all these bullish reversal has happened. I think most of these yen pairs had this kind of bullish reversal, and I didn't really like it that much to see them. And for Kiwi yen here, because we broke this previous low, remember I talked about this previous low where it's super crucial to kind of watch if the price is going to continue or is it going to reverse. And unfortunately, it looks like it is. I don't want to say unfortunately, but it looks like it's reversing. Right? It looks like it's reversing. It just failed to break the previous low and continue the continuation. We basically have a impulse down and then a reversal impulse. This looks like a consolidation. It looks like the price is pushing up now. So all that really doesn't favor a downside move anymore. Right? What was once a pretty clean downside, if you guys recall, maybe a month ago when we're looking at these Kiwi pairs, or I mean when we're looking at these Yen pairs, the structures look pretty clean, right? The structure and the correction looks pretty clean. But after it broke this low, it just didn't continue lower. This almost looks like an inverse head and shoulder on its own now. So I don't see the bearish bias. I almost want to see I see a more bullish now. I think this area here is crucial. Just wait for price to break above and continuation will give you a potential more of a bullish bias afterwards. Okay. Yeah, you're welcome, my friend. Any other question, guys? Any last minute question that I'm happy to answer? I've been talking for an hour and 40 minutes now, so went over all the pairs. Like I said, today we have some dollar movement that is probably throwing off people a little bit. But this is the time to be a little bit more careful now, right? Uh, if you maybe took a loss or two in these kind of dollar kind of situation, be careful, right? Don't fall for those emotional trap from the market. The market tends to do that once in a while. to really push traders to their limit, right? Sometimes traders got caught in these situations, and then all sorts of emotion kicks in, and start taking more trades, start revenge trading, things like that. Don't do that, right, guys? Don't do that. You're better than that, right? You don't want to get trapped by the market, essentially, right? You don't want the market to kind of take away your hard-earned money that you have spent, a couple of weeks to accumulate on, and don't let that affect you, because what ends up happening is that when market does something like this, there's going to be a period of time where traders start making not good decisions, and that's how they eventually, take more trade, revenge trade, and blow accounts, right? It's like a cycle of things that happens. Okay, I say this now is because I've been through, or I talked to traders who've been through that, and it's unfortunate to see something like this. And they even admit themselves after, was like, well, yeah, you're right. Like, I was emotional. I entered trades I shouldn't do. I exit trade I shouldn't do. I take more trades I shouldn't do. I revenge trade I shouldn't do. Things like that, where they realize afterwards, right? But realize now so that you don't make the unnecessary mistakes, unnecessary losses, um, unnecessary negative emotion that you put yourself in, right? Just, you did take a loss today or two, move on, right? That's how trading is. Nobody is going to tell you they don't take losses, right? Don't believe things you see on social media where they just keep showing you profit after profit. It's really not true. They're just there to show you some demo accounts to make you buy into things you want. So make sure you have a clear peace of mind, right? Good emotional mindset. Move on to other opportunities. If you're seeing yourself struggling to move away from the charts after taking a loss or two, basically just close your computer, right? Close your laptop. Tell yourself, okay, I'm not gonna look at the chart for today, the whole day, and come back strong the next day or 2 days later, right? That's kind of how I when in the beginning of my trading journey, if I struggle to, turn myself away from the charts and broker, that's what I tell myself. Is like, okay, well, I'm gonna just not look at the charts, not look at the broker for the next 2 days. I don't really care what happens in the market, and I'm gonna come back strong with a proper mindset, instead of taking a couple losses and right away trying to look at the market, look at the chart to look for possible entries. That's not gonna help you, right? So, all right. Enjoy the rest of your week. Yeah, thank you very much, Victoria. I appreciate it. I think that's it, everyone. So, hope everyone is good for the remaining of the week. I will make a weekly recap trading videos on the trades I took this week. Like I said, I exit Euro Dollar for a little bit of profit, I think 1.1%. Euro Aussie for, I think, 0.5% or so. Pound Aussie was a break even for the first trade, and then I'm in the second trade right now. And Kiwi Swiss I entered today. So these are the trade positions. Maybe I'll enter more towards the end of the week, or maybe not. I'm not sure. But we'll see how it goes. So like I said, just two trade positions, and then we'll see how the rest of the week goes. Okay. And like I said, any question, comments, welcome to message me on the Telegram, or you can check out on my YouTube, or you can check it out on my trading view as well. Whatever way you can message me on any of the platforms. I'll try my best to answer anything I see, and take it from there. All right. So hope everyone will enjoy the rest of your week, and chat with you guys all next week on my weekly trading market outlook on Monday morning. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your week, everyone.